Hi everybody. I want to make another spiritual video um, today. Not that I made one already today, but I'm making another one, today. Anyways, I want to make a video about going with the flow because I have some very severe mental illnesses, ones that you're not supposed to, according to the world of psychiatry, ones that you're not supposed to be able to get over through spirituality. Now, the world of psychiatry has not fully researched spirituality, so it's um, I'm, you know, it's been really effective. It's been very effective, especially for the reduction of my pain and for the reduction of my delusionality. But they would chalk that up to medication, which I am forced to take because of my lease agreement. I have to take medication to be able to stay where I'm staying. And so, anyways, so I would, personally, I think that most of it is because of the spirituality stuff that I do, but the world thinks that most of it's because of the medication because they don't believe in spirituality, a lot of them. And they've done studies on mindfulness, which is a good practice, but it's not, in my opinion, nearly as effective as inner body awareness, being in the body, focus training, which I talked about in my first video, and um, uh, I would say it's about as effective as presence, but I think that doing body work is much more effective than presence, personally. Um, anyways, I wanted to make the video about going with the flow because I've been feeling crazy today, and I've been very emotional today. Um, but it's interesting when if you're very messed up, your emotions are unpleasant. But I remember when I was younger, negative emotions had a pseudo pleasure component to it. I liked listening to Radiohead, which is a very depressing band, when I was like 15 years old, because I remember enjoying the depressed feeling. I remember enjoying the sadness. There was a pseudo pleasure in it. And I remember having sleepovers with people and trying to scare each other and tell stories and pretend that we saw something and tell the other person we saw something outside and stuff, just trying to scare them, because like you go to the woods or whatever, near some woods, and you told them you saw like a creature or something like that, and just trying to scare each other. And I remember that there was a pseudo pleasure in that low level of fear when I was younger. There was something that I enjoyed about it, and that's why people go see horror movies. So my emotions, I felt crazy today, but they felt better. Like they were intense, and there was a lot of emotion, but it felt more like it was a pseudo pleasure um, than just this awful, horrible thing, which is what happens when you have intense negative emotions. And I don't want the pseudo pleasure emotions either. Um, I want to be free of that stuff. And but in order to get there, you have to go with the flow. You cannot resist your emotions. Well, you can, but it's not very effective. Or or if you're feeling like resisting your emotions, then resist your emotions. That too is going with the flow more so than trying to repress resistance. So don't resist resistance either. So going with the flow is allowing. The allowing principle, I think Eckhart Tolle calls it, allowing. Allowing your thoughts, allowing your emotions. That was one of the big ones because when I read The Power of Now, I didn't necessarily take away from it that I go, oh, by the way, I do this walking. I'm walking back and forth because of my mental illness. I literally have to walk like all day, every day. It's just one of the things I do. And I basically pay attention to my thoughts and stuff like that as I walk and do spiritual work on myself as I walk. But I cannot, I cannot sit still for long periods of time. It's not fun, but that's mental illness. So anyways, So, yeah, I took away that I was supposed to not have any thoughts, and that if I thought, then I was failing. And Eckhart Tolle, he doesn't say that, but I did a little bit of research into other spiritual teachers and found out that some of them, instead of trying to stop thinking, just watched their thoughts. They allowed their thoughts and they watched them. And so when I became more mentally ill and my thoughts started coming just horribly and I could not stop them, it was helpful to know about that all I needed to do was just pay attention to them, and that's a help too. And that's going with the flow. And when you have emotions and thoughts that just come over you and overpower you, surrender is very important as well. I had a mantra about 3 years ago, and it was sink into the stream, which I meant with a stream of thinking. And then I said, you will soon get buoyed, like a buoy out of it. So you sink into the stream, you stop resisting it, and then you'll come back out of it. So I would just allow myself to sink into the stream of compulsive thought with the trust that after a few hours or a few days, if it's severe, that hopefully I would come out of it, or a few years, in my case, basically. And I am starting to come out of it, thankfully. That's one of the reasons I'm making this YouTube channel. So my first video, I don't think got even a single view. A lot of the views are my own. Like, I was testing to see if I could, if the views are my own, and so and there was like a delay, so I gave myself like 20 views. But anyways, but hopefully as I get better, the thumbnails, which probably usually gonna be my face, will start to look better. If I look at photos of myself when I was more mentally ill, I look very negative, and so it's probably not as charismatic. So hopefully, as I get better spiritually, people will be more inclined to click on my videos. And I'm not, if you think of Eckhart Tolle, I don't know if a lot of you might not even know who Eckhart Tolle is, but he is one of the world's most famous spiritual teachers. Everybody else does his administrative work for him, I'm pretty sure. And he lives, I guess, check the camera. Okay, got like 2 minutes left. And he lives a very meditative life. He doesn't live a very scheduled life. People give him deadlines and he'll say like maybe. And I think he usually gets it done on time. But he lives a very unstructured life in some way. I mean, he goes on retreat. He does retreats. He's good for that. He follows the schedule there. But he doesn't, he doesn't he's not the type of person who, if he was going to do a YouTube channel, he wouldn't I doubt that he would be doing research into how to get more views. And I doubt that he would be browsing the internet, because he doesn't like using computers. Because he says you have to use your mind to use computers. I'm not a fan of computers either sometimes. But so he wouldn't, I lived a year without a computer, actually, about 5 to 6 years ago. But anyways, he wouldn't, because I was too addicted, and that was when I was first getting into spirituality, and I threw it away. But I doubt that he's the type of guy who would get the perfect thumbnail and do all of that stuff. And I'm not trying to copy him per se. I just don't feel like doing that stuff now. I would rather just have it be the merit of what I'm saying and doing, instead of trying to pull people with negative emotions, with clickbait, with all capitalizations, with an extreme reaction look on my face and stuff like that, which is what tends to generate the most views. So we'll see how this does. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a good day.